remember most about playing for Steve Spurrier?
Man, how long do we have? Yeah, obviously I thought he was really good to me. I was looking for a chance to go someplace and kind of learn about offensive football, and gave up my scholarship at the University of Kansas, and he didn't have any scholarships left, but he told me I could come down there and certainly compete for playing time, and do some things on the sideline, signaling plays and things like that. And he told me that if I ever earned, got up to third string on the depth chart, he'd give me a scholarship, which he did. Showed me some video of Danny Werfel. I watched Danny throw, and I was like, I can beat this guy out. Little did I know that Danny would go on to have such a great career, but I hold him in very high regard. He was great to me. It'd be fun to compete with him and against him on Saturday night.
Brian, you've done a ton of your career. You've done a lot in the NFL. Is there a small part of you though that would like to, to show your, mentor like that hey, I've arrived, so to speak, and it can be successful? Well,
obviously I'd love to win the game for the team. He's the most competitive person I think I've ever met. Talking about Coach Spurrier, doesn't matter what we've played, whether it's, golf or just different things that we've played over the years, when I was in school, and he'd always take the quarterbacks out. So it would certainly be special to beat him. He's just a good man. He called me, probably right during the summer break, and called me out of the blue, and he had just seen the special on my dad, A Football Life, and just was saying, hey, I was just thinking about you and wanted to say hello. So, it's kind of what, you hope the players one day will think about myself or think about Coach Rick. Just that simple phone call from Coach Spurrier. I was driving down the highway, didn't recognize the number, answered it, and it was Coach, and meant the world to me. So I look forward to seeing him and then hopefully beating him.
You ever beat him in golf?
No, no. He was really, like I say, very competitive. I came close a couple times, but he always found a way to pressure me probably and find a way to beat me.
Did he ask you how your quarterbacks were doing at that stage?
No, he did not. But I think I was probably the best player of the quarterbacks. No, when it was all personal information, just fun to catch up.
What's clearly defenses are crowding the line of scrimmage now. They're Nick Chubb and some of them show are attracting a lot of attention. Can you guys air it out vertically, or can you beat that running football? You know what I'm saying?
No. Obviously, we're a little, obviously we should have thrown the ball better than we did against Vandy. I give them some credit. They did some good stuff against us. We know we have to be balanced. We know there's going to be times that certainly we got to be able to push the ball down the field. Sometimes it's, based on what the defense does, that kind of drives that. The one thing, though, when people load the box, I think you saw the power play that we hit to Nick. When they load the box, if they miss a tackle or they don't spot it up right, it's got a chance to be, big plays and explosives. But, we didn't get off to a real good start throwing the ball, missed some throws. I had a drop or two here or there, a couple calls I'd like to have back, I think. Again, we know as we get going through the season, we're going to have to be able to be real balanced. And we've had a good week of practice this week, both running and throwing. And but I'm very confident that the passing game will get going.
Is Greyson the kind of guy who dwells on mistakes, or can he kind of flush things and move forward whenever, like, when y'all start practice, or he was still kind of thinking about some of the things that went wrong against Vanderbilt?
No, I think he's played enough football that he's able to kind of push it behind him. He's a little bit of a perfectionist. So again, on game day and stuff like that, you got to kind of sometimes, hey, it's okay, move on to the next one. I thought he finished really strong. He made some good throws late in the game. He hit Isaiah McKenzie on a seam, was really tight coverage. But again, the thing, not making excuses, he's still working on some timing stuff with some of these guys. And again, I think we'll see it just kind of get better as we go. And we think it was just kind of a, one of those days. Just wasn't our best day throwing it, but certainly not what we think is the standard.
Plan for Bryce to get in like we've seen the first couple games in the first half still, or is his participation ramped up because Lambert?
No, again, I think obviously what we've said from all along is that Greyson's a starter. We might play the other two guys some. Bryce has obviously gotten in. Again, there's not a set number of plays that we're trying to get for either guy. The two games, obviously we lost the whole quarter almost against Louisiana at Monroe. Last game was kind of one that we had the lead late, kind of took the air out of the ball a little bit, to be honest with you. Had some tough field position, but again, all the guys are getting reps. Again, Bryce his number of reps is kind of dependent on how the game goes. But Greyson starts, and all those guys, including Fatone, need to be ready to go.
When people ask, and people have kind of latched on to how the game started at Vanderbilt, and they see what Greyson did at Virginia too, and they worry. What went into your all's thinking on saying this is going to be our guy this year?
Well, certainly it was and we didn't say, this year. I mean, we certainly said, hey, we're going kind of game by game. But, Greyson did some really good things like the other guys did as well. I think he was probably the most consistent throughout the whole course of the fall camp. The thing about the passing game is it's not just the quarterbacks. There's other things that are involved in the passing game. There's pass protection, there's route depth, there's timing, things like that. But again, we feel very comfortable that, whoever the guy is, that they should go in and play at a high level. And I thought Greyson played very well in the first game. I thought Vanderbilt, again, we got off to a slow start. He forced the ball down the seam. It should have been intercepted. Got lucky on that one. Next play, we hit the big run with Sony, which is a great teaching moment. Hey, they missed an opportunity. Obviously, you had a chance to check the ball down. You didn't. Next play, explosive play in the running game. But in terms of Greyson, obviously, he was very consistent throughout the course of fall camp.
Coach, what would you say after going back and looking at the film, that 0-for-7 start, that slow start in general? What if you had to put a finger on one thing, what would you say, Greyson kind of struggled with the most, or you did the most as a passing game?
Obviously, it was multiple things. I mean, obviously, when we kind of started the game, the first pass was a bad call by me, to be honest with you. They were playing a split safety defense. Should have had a better tool in there to handle that. That one's on me. Obviously, tries to throw the check down, ball gets tipped. Stuck in a third down and long situation, tries to throw a deep over to Jeb. Forced the one, like I said, a little bit later. There were some protection issues at times. Vanderbilt did a really good job with some of the things they tried to do from a pressure standpoint. They came after us. And again, that's the hard thing with the passing game. It takes really all 11 guys to be functioning as one, and we didn't do a very good job of that, both players and coaches.
The checks at the line and the stuff that has to happen between, well, I guess there's no huddle, but
Correct.
The stuff that has to happen between plays. What does Greyson do so well? I assume that was one thing that you all are really.
He sees things really well. Got a good understanding of defenses. Again, picked up the system fast, but I think a lot of it's just, he's played quite a bit of football, so he can see, rotation things that might take him off. Hey, this is a bad look. This guy's getting ready to come. I don't want to run the ball over there. I think that certainly was part of it. But, he sees things pretty well defensively. He can come off the field. I'm used to having the still photos. I'm used to being able to look at the pictures. And when you talk to him, he's got a good grasp of, hey, I saw this guy do that. That's why I did that. So I think he sees the field well.
How much, I don't want to say patience, but, before you consider making a change at quarterback, what does it take for that to happen? Maybe you see some things that people in the stands and see incompletions, and, what goes into your thinking with that?
Well, obviously, again, the big thing for us is, hey, Greyson's our starter. He's going to start the game. He knows that, we expect him to go in there and play well and move the team like he did against Louisiana Monroe. He also knows that there's a good chance we're going to play Bryce, maybe Fatone, along the way. And the biggest thing for all those guys is to go in there and do what we want them to do, which is take care of the football, which I think, we're pleased with that. We've had a few balls come out, some great effort to get the ball back. But, we don't want anybody looking over their shoulder. Greyson doesn't need to go out there and say, hey, I got to play great or else they're going to. Because whether he plays great or not, we're probably going to play the other guys a little bit. So, again, we're at that point right now where we're not panicking. That game's behind us. We didn't play very well offensively, especially in the passing game, but we found a way to win. And I think that's a positive, and now we've moved on. We're getting ready for South Carolina, which will be, again, another challenge. Another group's going to load the box. We know that. And, again, we expect it to be a dogfight.
Knowing that Georgia has lost a past of the few games against South Carolina, what do you think the confidence level is?
Well, obviously, I wasn't here for any of those games. I do think our guys have had a good week of prep. I do think they obviously hold South Carolina in high regard. They know they're a good football team. I think somebody was telling me a stat like they have 20-something plus players on their roster from Georgia. So obviously it's going to be a huge game for them. Prime time type game. So again, in terms of the past, I don't know, but I do know it's a good defense. You know, they don't do a lot, but they certainly are good at what they do, very athletic. They run and hit, and they play very, very fast.
Last question.
Jeb Blazevich had one reception last game. What do you need to do to get him more involved?
Obviously, you know, did a nice job, you know, for us. He had a few more opportunities that we didn't really get a chance to finish. Again, just, you know, our progressions are set up that, you know, multiple guys have a chance to get the ball. Certainly Jeb's a guy that, you know, we want to get involved, but again, we just didn't throw the ball very well, you know, last game, and didn't execute the passing game very well. And Jeb will be a big part of kind of getting that jump started, but along with that, you know, so are the other guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.